Okay, picture this. You are at dinner. Let's say it's a Tuesday night. Maybe it's an anniversary. Or, maybe you're just trying to grab a burger with your kids at that spot downtown.
Mm-hmm.
You know the one. The noise level is decent. The smell of fries is in the air. And for a second, just 1 second, you think you might actually relax. And then you feel it.
The buzz.
The buzz in your pocket. Or maybe it's just the phantom buzz. But your heart, it just skips a beat. Deep down in your gut that if you don't check that phone, something for business is going to break. You are the go-to person, the answer key, the firefighter in chief.
You're the exhausted expert.
Exactly, the exhausted expert. And here is the kicker, and this is what makes it so frustrating.
Uh-huh.
On paper, you are killing it. Revenue is up. The team is growing. You're seeing numbers you only dreamed of 5 years ago.
Right. The vanity metrics all look great.
They look perfect, but it feels like the more the business grows, the smaller your life gets. It's this weird paradox where financial success feels like a prison sentence.
It is a paradox. And honestly, it's one of those dangerous places a business owner can live.
Yeah.
Because society, it tells you, this is the grind. This is what it takes.
Yeah, hustle culture.
Hustle culture. If you're tired, you're winning. If you aren't sleeping, you're crushing it. But if we actually strip away the vanity metrics, forget the Instagram posts and the top-line revenue for a second, and look at the mechanics of what is happening, you don't have a badge of honor.
Yeah.
You have a massive leak in your bank account.
Oh, hold on. A leak. I'm talking about being busy. I'm talking about working hard. How does my hard work equate to a leak in the bank account? That sounds a bit, dramatic, doesn't it?
It sounds dramatic, but it's mathematically accurate. Most people think they have a time management problem. They buy the planners, they download the apps. But what we are going to unpack today is that they don't have a time problem.
Okay.
Honestly, they don't even have a documentation problem, which is what everyone tells them to fix. They have a profit problem. They are hemorrhaging money disguised as being helpful.
Okay, I'm intrigued. I love that we are framing this as a profit issue because time management sounds soft. It sounds like something I'll get to next year.
Exactly.
Profit sounds urgent. Profit sounds like something I need to fix before lunch. And we have a stack of insights here pulled from work with dozens of service business owners, folks in HVAC, law, creative agencies right here in places like Grand Ledge that completely flips the script on why we are so tired.
And it starts with a story that, honestly, it just hits you right in the gut. It's what I call the $2 million mistake.
Yeah, let's start there because this story, it sets the stakes perfectly. We aren't talking about losing a couple of bucks on spilled coffee. We are talking about life-changing money.
Right. So picture a business owner. Let's call him Mark. He's a peer of ours, works in the service industry, not unlike many of our listeners. Successful guy. He had built a solid company over 10 years. Good reputation, good clients, profitable on the P&L statement. He gets an offer to sell the business.
The dream.
For $2 million.
That is the dream. That is the exit. That's the moment you pop the champagne and book the one-way ticket to Cabo.
You would think. So they going through due diligence. It's the final stages. The buyer's lawyer is sitting across the table. It's a heavy conference table, serious atmosphere. And the lawyer asks one single question.
Okay.
It wasn't about the tax returns. It wasn't about the customer list. The lawyer looks Mark in the eye and asks, if you got hit by a bus tomorrow, could this business operate for 90 days without you?
The bus question. God, that's morbid. But it cuts right to the chase.
It's the ultimate stress test. And Mark, he's an honest guy. He freezes. He thinks about his dispatch system, his client relationships, the way he handles pricing on the fly. And he says, honestly, probably not past 2 weeks, things would start falling through the cracks.
Oof. 2 weeks, and then the business just implodes.
And just like that, the deal died.
Instantly. Just based on that one answer.
Instantly.
Yeah.
The offer evaporated because the buyer realized they weren't buying a business. They were buying a job.
A job. That's it.
A high-paid, high-stress job that required that specific guy's brain to function. If Mark isn't there, the asset value is zero. It's worthless.
That is a brutal reality check. It's not just about, can I take a vacation? It's, does this thing have any value without my pulse?
Precisely. The key takeaway here, and the mission for this deep dive, is to understand that if your business cannot survive 90 days without you, it is not an asset. It is a liability with your name on the lease.
A liability.
We need to shift the listener's identity today. You need to stop being the skilled technician who owns a business and start being the CEO who owns a profit-generating asset.
I love that distinction, CEO who owns an asset. But let's be real for a second. Most of us, especially in the service game, we pride ourselves on being the technician. We are the best at what we do. I mean, that's why we started the business. Are you saying we have to stop doing the thing we love?
I'm saying you have to stop doing the thing that kills your value. You can still do the work if you choose to, but the business shouldn't require you to do it to survive. That's the difference.
The choice. It's about having the choice.
It's all about choice. And to get there, we are going to do something that sounds boring but is actually incredibly lucrative. We are going to audit where you are bleeding money. And we are going to talk about standard operating procedures, or SOPs.
Oh boy, SOPs. I can feel the collective eye roll of the audience right now. SOPs are those dusty binders that you write once, put on a shelf, and then nobody ever looks at again until the fire marshal shows up.
Exactly. And that is why we are not going to talk about SOPs.
We aren't. You just said...
No, because SOP sounds like corporate homework. It sounds like bureaucracy. We are going to talk about profit vaults.
Profit vaults. Okay, I'm listening. That sounds much better. It sounds like something I want to own.
We are rebranding this for a reason. Traditional SOPs are boring documents for employees. A profit vault is a system that guards your freedom. It guards your bank account. It is insurance against you having to work on a Saturday. It's the mechanism that creates the asset.
I am fully on board with profit vaults. If it keeps me off my email on Saturday, I'll call it whatever you want. So let's get into the math. Because you dropped a bomb on me before we started recording about how much money we're actually losing by being this exhausted expert.
Let's look at the success paradox through a mathematical lens. I want everyone listening to do this math with us. Most owners, when they calculate their hourly rate, they take their annual profit and divide it by a standard 40-hour work week.
Right, standard back-of-the-napkin math. If I take home, let's say, $150,000 a year, I divide that by 2,080 hours, which is a standard year, and I pat myself on the back. That's roughly $72 an hour. Not bad.
But that's a lie. That's the lie we tell ourselves to feel successful. The reality formula is different. It is your weekly hours minus 40 times your CEO hourly rate. That is the cost of your lack of systems.
Okay, walk me through the concrete numbers. Because I feel like a lot of people think, well, I work hard, so what? Let's say I'm that guy. I'm working 70 hours a week to make that $150,000.
Okay, so first, let's look at your actual hourly rate. It isn't based on 40 hours. It's based on the 70 hours you're actually working. So $150,000 divided by your total hours for the year.
Which is what, 70 times 52, 3640?
Right, 3,640 hours. So your $150K divided by that puts you closer to $41 per hour.
Wait, $41. I went from $72 to $41 just by being honest about my hours.
Yes, you are working nearly double time for the same money. But here is where it really hurts. You are working 30 extra hours a week above a standard job.
30 hours, a part-time job on top of my full-time job.
That is 30 hours of overtime that you are donating to the business.
Donating. I like that word. It's so polite. I'm a volunteer at my own for-profit company.
Essentially. And if we value your time at just a modest CEO rate, let's even stick to that $72 number you thought you were making.
Okay.
You are donating $2,160 a week in free labor.
$2,100 a week. That I'm just burning.
For nothing.
That you are burning.
Which is $112,320 a year.
Oh my, that stings. That is an entire second's salary. That's a senior employee.
It should sting. When you look at it that way, you realize you aren't a high-earning CEO. You are essentially two people. You are two $40 an hour employees standing on each other's shoulders in a trench coat, working for half price, with no sick leave and no benefits.
That is a visual I will never get out of my head. Two employees in a trench coat. But it's so true. You feel like you're doing the work of two people because you literally are. And the bottom guy in the coat is the technician doing the grunt work, and the top guy is the exhausted face trying to smile at clients.
And neither of them is happy. And you're doing it because you haven't built the vaults. You're plugging the holes in the dam with your own time. And the biggest hole. The biggest leak. It comes down to what we call the answer twice rule.
Okay, unpack this for me, the answer twice rule, because I answer questions all day long. I mean, it feels like that's my entire job sometimes.
It's a simple philosophy for handling questions from your team. We all get questions. How do I process this refund? Where is the file? What do I say to this client?
Constant barrage. Slack, text, email, popping into the office. It's the got a minute culture.
Right, so here's the rule. The first time you answer a question, it is training.
Yeah.
That's fine. You are a mentor. You are helping them grow.
Okay, I'm with you. Mentorship is good. That's part of the job.
The second time you answer that same question, it is a profit leak. You are now repeating work you have already done. You're inefficient.
Okay, fair enough. I should have written it down. My fault.
But the third time you answer that question, that is negligence.
Whoa! Negligence. That is a strong word. I mean, come on. Sometimes people forget. Sometimes I forget. Calling it negligence feels a little harsh, doesn't it? I mean, I'm just trying to be helpful.
I use negligence deliberately
Mm.
because you are the CEO. You are the steward of the company's resources.
Mm.
Time, money, focus. If you answer a question for the third time, you are actively choosing to burn money. Think about the switching cost.
Switching cost. What do you mean by that?
Every time you stop your strategic work, let's say you're working on a big proposal or analyzing the P&L, and you stop to answer, how do I refund this?
Mm.
It's not just the 2 minutes it takes to answer. Research shows it takes, on average, 23 minutes to get back into a deep flow state.
23 minutes. So one little interruption basically kills a half hour of my productivity.
Exactly. It costs you $100 or more in CEO time just to shift your focus, answer the question, and try to get back into the zone.
I think we underestimate that switching costs so much. We think, oh, it's just a quick text. But if I get 10 texts a day...
You never actually work. You just react.
Yeah.
Your whole day is spent in this shallow reactive state. Let's use a specific example. Let's say you have a process for handling a late-paying client. It takes you 20 minutes to explain it to a team member, or just handle it yourself because you don't trust them to do it. Let's say that happens 4 times a month.
Pretty common scenario. Everyone has late payers. It's a part of doing business.
That one question, how do we handle this late invoice, costs you nearly $1,600 a year in lost time, just for that one question.
$1,600 on one repeated question.
Now multiply that by the 15 or 20 recurring bottlenecks in your business. The where is the password? The, shall we quote this, the client is unhappy, what do I do?
You're talking tens of thousands of dollars.
You are easily burning $30,000 to $80,000 annually. Just answering questions you have already answered. That is money that should be profit. That is money that should be your vacation. That's your kid's college fund.
It's death by 1,000 cuts, or death by 1,000 Slack notifications. It's terrifying when you actually put a dollar figure on it. It stops being an annoyance and starts being a financial crisis.
It is. And the tragedy is most owners know this. I'm not telling you anything you don't inherently know. You know you should document this stuff, but you haven't. Or you tried and you failed.
That's where I want to go next, because I feel like everyone listening has a Google Drive folder somewhere called SOPs or operations that is just a graveyard. It's where documents go to die.
The digital dustbin.
Yeah, I've done it. I sat down one weekend, full of caffeine and good intentions, wrote out a bunch of stuff, and nobody ever read it. Why do we fail at this? Is it just laziness?
It's not laziness, it's psychology. We approach it with the wrong mindset. And in our work, we've identified 3 main saboteurs in the minds of business owners. And usually, every owner is dominated by one of these 3.
Okay, listener, get ready to self-diagnose. I have a feeling I'm going to see myself in one of these. What's the first saboteur?
The first one is the over-documenter.
Let me guess. This is the perfectionist. The A+ student.
Oh yeah, this is the person who waits until they have a free month, which never happens, to write the perfect operations manual. They think it needs to look like a franchise handbook for McDonald's. 200 pages, table of contents, color coding, footnote.
And it's beautiful. Like, you could frame it.
It's a masterpiece, and nobody reads it.
Because it's 200 pages. Who has time for that?
Exactly. It sits on a shelf. The cost here is massive. You spend $60K to $100 of your time writing a novel that changed 0 behavior. The over-documenter confuses having a document with having a system.
Right. The document is the artifact, not the action. So what's the fix?
Burn the novel. Done is better than perfect. If the document isn't usable in 30 seconds while someone is on the phone with a client, it's trash.
Okay, I definitely have a streak of over-documenter. I want things to look right. What's the second one?
The second one is the Wild West operator.
This sounds like the fun one. This sounds like the move fast and break things guy, the cool startup CEO.
It's fun until you go broke. This is the owner who says, I don't need systems. I hire smart people and I let them figure it out. I don't want to micromanage. We're agile.
I hear that all the time, especially in creative fields. Process kills creativity. We're a family. We just make it work.
That is usually code for we are chaotic. The problem is they confuse autonomy with chaos. Smart people actually hate the Wild West. High performers want to know where the guardrails are so they can run fast inside them.
Right. They want to know the rules of the game so they can win.
Exactly. If they have to guess at the rules every day, can I offer this discount? Can I promise this deadline? They get burned out. They're constantly anxious.
Because they're scared of making a mistake and getting in trouble.
Or they're just tired of the ambiguity. So the Wild West operator pays the price in turnover. It costs them $80K to $150K a year in inefficiency and hiring costs because they keep churning through good people who just want a little structure.
All right, that one hurts too. And the third saboteur.
The secret keeper.
Ooh, mysterious. This sounds like the control freak.
It is. This is the owner who has the systems, maybe even has them documented in their head, but won't share them, or they won't let go of the control.
My team isn't ready for this responsibility. If I let them do the billing, they'll mess it up.
That's the one. It's trust issues masquerading as quality control. Nobody cares as much as I do.
Which is true, but...
And look, they're right. Nobody will care as much as you do. But 80% as good done by someone else is infinitely better than 100% done by you because you can only do one thing at a time. You can't scale secrets. If you are the only one who knows the combination to the vault, you have to be there every time someone needs money.
So what's the fix for the secret keeper? How do they let go?
The fix for the secret keeper is documenting decision thresholds. You have to learn to trust the system, not just your gut. And you start small.
Decision thresholds. I want to pin that because we are going to get into the specific profit guards in a minute, and I think that is a huge part of it. But before we do, I want to ask, if I'm listening and I realize I'm the Wild West operator or I'm the over-documenter, what is the mindset shift? How do I stop sabotaging myself?
You have to realize that profit vaults, these systems are not for your employees. That is the biggest lie we tell ourselves. We think, I need to write SOPs so my team knows what to do. No. You need to write SOPs so you get your life back. They are freedom insurance.
Freedom insurance. I like that.
When you realize that every document you create buys you an hour of freedom every single week for the rest of your life, it stops being a chore and starts being an investment. You aren't doing admin work. You're buying your Tuesday nights back. You're buying your kids' soccer games back.
That is the shift. It's not paperwork, it's purchasing freedom. Okay, let's get tactical. You mentioned that if you are earning between $250K and $5 million, there are 5 systems you need to build first. Ignore everything else. Just build these 5.
But it's 5 non-negotiable profit guards. If you implement these, you stop the bleeding. You can do these in a week.
Let's run through them, but I don't want to just list them. I want to feel the pain of not having them. Let's role play this a bit. Guard number 1.
The Refund and Discount Authority Protocol.
Okay, so this is the can I speak to your manager prevention tool.
It is exactly that. Think about the old way. An employee, let's call her Sarah, is on the phone. A client is mad because an appointment was missed. The client wants $50 off. Sarah's terrified. She thinks, if I give the money, the boss yells at me for losing profit. If I don't, the client yells at me.
So she freezes. She puts the client on hold. Let me check on that for you. And she texts you. You're at your kid's soccer game. You see the text. Now you're annoyed. Your focus is gone.
And you become the bottleneck. And worse, you become the bad cop. Or you just text back, just do it, and you've trained Sarah that she can't think for herself. You've reinforced the dependency.
So what's the fix? What's the profit vault version?
The system is based on thresholds. You give Sarah a pre-approved budget. Under $100, Sarah, you can approve it immediately, no questions asked. Your only job is to solve the client's problem and make them happy.
Empower the team. I trust you with $100. That's a powerful message.
Exactly. Then, $100 to $500, the manager approves it, same day. Over $2,000. Then the owner is involved.
So you are only seeing the big critical decisions, the things that could actually sink the ship.
Correct. You save 3 to 5 hours a month. But more importantly, Sarah feels trusted. She feels like an owner. She solves the problem in real time. The client is happy because they didn't have to wait. It's a win-win-win.
Brilliant. Okay, guard number 2.
The client onboarding handshake.
This is about that critical first week, right? When the client is most nervous.
It is. The problem in most businesses, especially Wild West ones, is that every client gets started differently. Sometimes the owner calls them and gives them the VIP treatment. Sometimes they get a generic email. Sometimes, if things are busy, they get ignored for 3 days.
And when they get ignored, they get nervous. They get buyer's remorse. And when they get nervous, who do they call?
They call the owner. Hey, I just signed the contract. Is anything happening? That is a failure of system. It means you sold a promise that your operations can't deliver on from day one.
So what's the protocol? What does a good handshake look like?
The system is a rigid rhythm. Day 1, welcome email, automated. Day 3, orientation call with a project manager, scheduled immediately. Day 7, a quick check-in email. Day 30, a milestone review.
It's a heartbeat. It's predictable.
It's a rhythm that builds trust in the team. not just the owner. If the process is smooth and professional, the client assumes the whole company is competent. If the process is rocky, they assume they need to talk to the guy in charge to get anything done.
You're training them how to interact with your company from the very first day.
You're training them to bypass you by building a machine that welcomes them better than you can on a busy Tuesday.
That is a huge distinction. You want them to trust the machine, not just the machinist. Okay, guard number 3. This one I think is a massive money pit for people.
The pricing and proposal decision tree.
Oh boy. Let me go back to my office and write up a quote.
The 6 most expensive words in business. If the owner is personally scoping and quoting every single job, your revenue is capped. It is physically impossible to grow beyond the owner's available hours.
But the objection, and I know the listeners are yelling this right now, is, but every job is unique. We are custom. I have to look at it.
That's the snowflake syndrome. We're special. And look, maybe 10% of your work is truly unique and strategic, but 90%, it's patterns. You've seen it before.
So what's the system?
The system here is tiered. Standard services, say under $5, use a calculator.
A calculator, like a spreadsheet.
A spreadsheet. Inputs and outputs, square footage, hours, type of material, number of users. The team just plugs in the inputs, the price comes out, no owner involvement.
It's not custom quoting standard work. That should be on a t-shirt.
Right. Then custom projects, maybe 5K to 20K, a manager scopes it and the owner just approves it. A 5-minute check. Only the strategic accounts, the big whales, over 20K does the owner lead.
This unlocks so much growth. You can have 5 salespeople out there quoting instead of everyone waiting for you to finish your math on Sunday night.
And it prevents emotional pricing, where you're in a good mood so you undercharge, or you're annoyed so you overcharge. Calculators don't have moods.
Amen to that. Guard number 4. Let's do another role play on this one.
The customer complaint resolution playbook.
The dreaded angry phone call. Your guy messed up my carpet. This deliverable is late. This is not what I asked for.
In the exhausted expert model, the receptionist panics. She says, "Oh, I'm so sorry, let me get the owner." Her only tool is escalation.
And now I'm on the phone for 45 minutes getting yelled at, derailing my entire day.
And that destroys your day, not just the time, but your energy. You're drained. The system here is categorization. Is it a service issue, a billing issue, or an expectations mismatch?
Categorize to conquer. I like that.
Or the protocol is, first, acknowledge within 2 hours. That diffuses 50% of the anger right there. Then, if it's service or billing, the team or manager handles it based on a pre-written protocol. If service was bad, we offer a redo. If billing was wrong, we correct and credit $20 for the trouble.
So you're giving them the answers to the test ahead of time.
Yes. And the only thing that should ever escalate to the owner is an expectation mismatch that the team couldn't resolve after trying once.
So you are the Supreme Court, not the traffic cop. You only hear the big constitutional cases.
Perfectly put. You are the Supreme Court. You shouldn't be handing out parking tickets.
All right, guard number 5. The CEO cockpit.
The weekly metrics dashboard.
This is for the data nerds, but it's essential, isn't it?
It's for everyone who manages by gut feel. Gut feel is great for art. It's terrible for profit. The problem is waking up at 3 a.m. wondering if you made money this month. I think we're busy, but are we profitable? That anxiety is a system failure.
So what's the system? What's on the dashboard?
A 1-page dashboard, updated every Monday morning. You track 5 things: max, new leads, conversion rate, average project value, customer retention, and profit margin. That's it.
Keep it simple. The vital signs.
And here's the key: the trigger.
Yeah.
You agree with your team that if a number drops 15% week over week, you investigate. Otherwise, you let them run. You don't ask, how's it going every day? You look at the dashboard on Monday. If it's green, you trust the team.
That is management by exception rather than management by anxiety.
Management by anxiety. That is exactly what we're trying to cure.
Okay, so we have the 5 guards. Refund protocol, onboarding handshake, pricing tree, complaint playbook, and the dashboard. If you just did those 5, you're reclaiming 20 hours a month. Easily.
Easily. And tens of thousands of dollars in profit leakage.
But now comes the friction point, the actual writing. We talked about the over-documenter earlier. We don't want to write a novel. So what does a profit vault document actually look like? Because if you tell me to open a blank Word doc, I'm going to freeze up.
It needs to be usable. And to be usable, it must be 1 page.
The 1-page rule.
If it is more than 1 page, nobody will read it. If it's complex, make a short video, link to it. But the document itself, 1 page. And it has 5 non-negotiable components.
Okay, lay them out for me.
Component 1, the scenario trigger. Do not start with step 1. Nobody's brain works that way. Start with when this happens. People think in situations, not lists. When a client asks for a refund or when a new contract is signed, that's the trigger.
Makes sense. Context first. What's the situation I'm in?
Component 2, decision authority. Who's allowed to make the call? Be specific. The front desk admin can approve up to $50 without asking anyone. This removes the fear we talked about earlier.
Clear boundaries. It gives them confidence.
Component 3, action steps.
Yeah.
3 to 7 bullets, max. If you need 20 steps, you have a broken process, or you need a video, keep it punchy. Verb, noun, open file, send email.
Short and sweet. No paragraphs.
Component 4, quality check. How do we know it's done right? Email sent within 2 hours. Client confirms receipt in writing. Give them a way to grade their own work so you don't have to micromanage.
Self-correction. Love that.
And component 5, this is the one everyone forgets. Exception protocol. What if it hits the fan? What is the escape hatch?
If the client starts screaming obscenities, immediately transfer to the manager.
Exactly. Because if you don't document the exception, they will panic and call you anyway.
Yeah.
You have to give them permission to escalate only when necessary.
So trigger, authority, steps, quality check, exception. That fits on one page. It's a recipe.
Easily. It's a playbook, not an encyclopedia.
No, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm a busy guy. I'm working 70 hours a week. I barely have time to eat lunch, let alone sit down and write trigger authority steps for 20 different processes. How do I actually get this done without staying up until midnight?
That is the I have no time excuse, and we have a hack for that. I call it the 20-minute miracle. We live in the age of AI. There is no excuse for typing out manual steps anymore.
Okay, walk me through this. Like, I'm 5 years old. What buttons do I click?
Okay. Step 1. You download Loom or just use the voice memo app on your phone. You turn it on. You record your screen while you do the task. Let's say you're processing that refund. You just talk out loud. Okay, I'm clicking on QuickBooks here because we need to find the invoice ID, and now I'm checking the date. You just narrate your stream of consciousness.
So I'm just doing the work I was going to do anyway, but I'm talking to myself like a crazy person.
Exactly. It takes 0 extra time, maybe 30 seconds extra to turn on the recording. Step 2, you take the transcript of that video. Loom gives it to you automatically, so do a bunch of other tools. Step 3, you paste that messy, rambling transcript into ChatGPT or Claude.
And here comes the magic prompt. What do I tell the robot?
You say, act as an operations expert. Turn this transcript into a one-page SOP using these 5 headings: scenario trigger, decision authority, action steps, quality check, and exception protocol. Keep it simple and use bullet points.
And the robot does the work.
It does 90% of the heavy lifting. It structures it, it bullet points it, it removes your ums and ahs. You spend 10 minutes editing it to make sure it sounds like you and the details are right. Boom. You have a profit vault document in 20 minutes versus 2 hours of staring at a blinking cursor.
That changes the game. You are basically cloning yourself digitally. You're downloading your brain.
You are. You are capturing your wisdom and outsourcing the formatting. There are no more excuses.
So we have covered the math of why you're broke. The saboteurs holding you back, the 5 guards to build, the tactics to build them fast using AI. But now, here's where it gets really interesting. Because there is a bigger why here. It's not just about getting home for dinner. It's about the value of the asset itself.
The valuation gap. This is the difference between retiring on a beach and retiring on a budget. This is what happened to Mark in our opening story.
You said earlier that business brokers hate the exhausted expert. Why? If I'm working hard and the company's profitable, shouldn't they love me?
No, because brokers and buyers look at one thing above all else: risk. When a buyer looks at a business, they're asking, how likely is it that this cash flow disappears the day after I write the check? If the business depends on the owner's brain, the risk is maximal.
Right.
If you get sick, the money stops. If you get bored, the money stops.
High risk, a low price.
Correct. So here's the math of the valuation gap. An owner-dependent business, aka a job, typically sells for 1.5 to 2.5 times its annual profit. It's called the SDE multiple, seller's discretionary earnings.
Okay, so let's use round numbers. If I make $500,000 in profit, my business is worth maybe $1 million to $1.25 million. If I'm lucky.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If you can find a buyer willing to take that risk, often you can't even sell it. You just close the doors and walk away. Now take that same business, same revenue, same $500 K profit. But it is system dependent. It has profit vaults. The owner can leave for 90 days and nothing breaks. That business sells for 3.5 to 5 times profit, sometimes more.
So that same $500 K profit is now worth what, $2 million to $2.5 million?
You just doubled or tripled the value of your business. You made an extra $1 million, and you didn't have to sell a single extra widget. You didn't have to increase profit by 1 cent. You just reduced the risk.
That is mind-blowing. The systems are the equity. The boring documents are literally worth $1 million.
We call it silent equity. Every time you document a process, you are literally adding commas to your net worth, even if you never sell.
Right, because even if you keep it, a business worth 5x is a joy to own. It runs itself. A business worth 1.5x is a nightmare that owns you.
Exactly. A 4x or 5x business gives you the option to sell. A 2x business forces you to stay. Freedom is having the option.
So we want to build this silent equity. We want the option. How do we start? Because I know myself, I know the listeners. The temptation right now is to say, I'm going to document everything this weekend. I'm going to buy a case of Red Bull and lock myself in the office.
That is the road to failure. That's the over-documenter saboteur taking over. Do not do that.
Okay.
You will burn out by Sunday noon and have a beautiful, useless binder. You need a roadmap, a 30-day plan.
Okay, let's break it down. Week 1, what's the first step?
Week 1 is the audit. Just find the leaks. Don't fix anything yet. Just carry a notebook or a note on your phone. Every time someone asks you a question, write it down. Every time you feel annoyed because you have to do something again, write it down. At the end of the week, circle the top 5 costliest questions.
Just 5. Don't try to solve world hunger. Find the biggest fires.
Just 5. The ones that happen the most and take the most of your time and mental energy. Week 2, document one thing. Pick the biggest, ugliest bottleneck from your list, the one that drives you the most crazy. Use the 20-minute Miracle Loom method. Document it. Distribute it to the team. Hold a 15-minute training on it.
Week 3.
Week 3, test and refine. This is crucial. Watch your team. Do they use it? If they ask you the question again, don't get mad. That's feedback. Ask, was the doc confusing? What can I clarify? Refine it. Make it simpler.
And week 4.
Week 4, repeat. Pick the next bottleneck from your list of 5. If you do this, just one system a week, by the end of the month, you have reclaimed 12 to 20 hours of monthly time. That is $2,000 plus in protected profit in the first 30 days.
That's a tangible result. And you mentioned there are things we should not document. Give us the warning label. What should I stay away from?
Yes, 3 big ones. First, do not document broken processes. If the process sucks, documenting it just helps you make mistakes faster and more consistently. Fix it first, then document the fix.
Right. Don't pave the cow path.
Second, do not document one-time events, like the holiday party. Who cares? It's low leverage. And third, please do not document high-level strategy or the core creative work that makes you special.
The CEO, 20%.
Right. If you are an architect, don't try to systematize the creative design process to the point where it becomes paint by numbers. You want to systematize the billing, the client updates, the permit process, the measurements, systematize the 80% of the boring stuff so you can be a genius in the 20%.
That is the balance. Structure creates space for creativity. It doesn't kill it.
Exactly. Structure supports genius. It doesn't suppress it.
We have covered a lot of ground. We've gone from the despair of the bus question to the mechanics of the profit vaults. I want to zoom out for a second. We talk about this maturity model, moving from chaos to freedom.
It's a journey. You start in chaos, firefighting. That's where most people are, living in that 70-hour week. Then you move to documentation, the I'm trying phase. Most people get stuck there because they become over-documenters.
Right. The binder on the shelf.
Then you bring through to systemization. It's actually working. The team is using the tools. You're getting fewer questions. And finally, you get freedom. The business runs without you. You can take that 90-day vacation.
And moving up just one stage, what is that worth in real dollars?
Moving up just one stage from chaos to documentation or documentation to systemization, it was worth $30,000 to $60,000 annually in time back. It is the highest ROI activity you can possibly do in your business.
So as we wrap this up, let's go back to that identity shift. We started with the exhausted expert, the person checking their phone at the burger joint.
The exhausted expert is a martyr. They think their suffering is necessary for the business to survive. The shift is realizing that your suffering is actually a sign of a broken machine. You are not fixing a marketing problem or a sales problem. You are fixing a systems problem to stop the profit leak.
The goal is to stop being the bottleneck and start being the strategist.
And here is the provocative thought I want to leave everyone with. We talked about the bus question as a hypothetical. If you got hit by a bus.
Yeah, it's a scary thought experiment.
But the truth is, the bus question will eventually get answered for every single business owner.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, eventually you will leave your business. Maybe it's retirement. Maybe it's a health event. Maybe you just get an offer you can't refuse and want to do something else.
Hmm.
Or maybe, yes, it's the bus. You cannot run this business forever. The question is, do you want to answer that question on your terms while you are in control? Or do you want life to answer it for you when you have no choice?
That puts it in perspective. It's not an if, it's a when and how,
Ah,
and it is so much better to build the exit ramp before you see the end of the road.
exactly. Build the asset now.
Mm.
Enjoy the freedom now. And when the time comes, you hand over the keys to a well-oiled machine, not a chaotic mess.
This hasn't been just theory. We know there are listeners right now in Grand Ledge, in Lansing, all over our area who are nodding their heads because they are living that exhausted expert life. They're looking at their phone right now, hoping it doesn't ring.
And if that is you, if you are ready to stop being the bottleneck and you want to see exactly where your profit leak is hiding, because it is hiding, it's usually a $50,000 to $150,000 leak, just like we calculated.
And you can find it. You can put a number on it.
You can. We mentioned the pathway to profit assessment. This isn't a sales pitch. It is a diagnostic. It's like an MRI for your business.
Hmm.
We look under the hood and find out, do you own a job or do you own an asset?
If you want to know the answer, and you should want to know, here's what you do. You call 517-955-2154.
That's 517-955-2154.
Ask to start your Pathway to Profit assessment. It's time to stop the leak.
It's time to build the vault.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. Go build some systems.
See you next time.